guys, and welcome to the newest video on my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about the Satanic Temple. Not to be confused with the Church of Satan. I've already made a video on that organization. It's very similar. There should be a link card thingy popping up right about now, and there should be a link in the description, unless I forgot it. Or you can just click on my channel and look there. Video before this one. So I was made aware of the Satanic Temple because of a friend, and we talked about it. Then I researched it, and then I found out that there's actually two organizations, the Church of Satan and the Satanic Temple. And then I decided that, yeah, I can't cram both of these into one video. That would be a very long video and a pain to fucking edit. And 2 videos is 2 times the views. So I decided to make 2 videos. The first video is up. As I said, this is the second one. I'm just going to read out the description of the Satanic Temple for you. This is from Wikipedia. They do not have a description of themselves on their own website, or at least not one that I could find and that I found satisfactory. Link to this in description. Quote, the Satanic Temple, not to be confused with Church of Satan. The Satanic Temple is a non-theistic religious group based in the United States, with additional chapters in Canada, Australia, and the United Kingdom. The group uses satanic imagery to promote egalitarianism, basically social equality, pretty much, social justice, and the separation of church and state, supporting their missions to, quote, encourage benevolence and empathy among all people, quote end. The group was co-founded by Lucien Greaves, and the organization's spokesperson, and Malcolm Jarry. Malcolm Jarry is a synonym thingy, not the actual name, like a stage name, except it's not a stage name, it's a founder of an organization name, like when somebody doesn't use their actual name, like a pen name, kind of that thingy. The Satanic Temple has utilized satire, theatrical ploys, humor, and legal action in their public campaigns to, quote, generate attention and prompt people to reevaluate fears and perceptions, quote end, and to highlight religious hypocrisy and encroachment on religious freedoms. The organization's participation in public affairs includes political actions as well as lobbying efforts, with a focus on exposing Christian privilege when it interferes with personal religious freedoms. It considers marriage a religious sacrament that should be governed under the First Amendment's protection of religious liberty, which should prevail over state laws. Because the group regards inviolability of the body as a key doctrine, it also views all restrictions on abortion, including mandatory waiting periods, as an infringement on the rights of Satanists to practice their religion. The Satanic Temple does not believe in a supernatural Satan. Instead, it employs literary Satan as a metaphor to promote pragmatic skepticism, rational reciprocity, I cannot say that word, personal autonomy, and curiosity. Satan is thus used as a symbol representing the eternal rebel against arbitrary authority and social norms. So basically, they're just a political activist group that's that's a religion, but politically very active. I think this is the first time that I heard anybody say that any group does lobbying, and I was like, yeah, that's fair. This isn't an issue. So that's weird. Yeah. So they are not to be confused with the Church of Satan, as the Wikipedia article said. I will go into that in a minute. Stick with me. So they have 7 fundamental tenets that are relevant, I promise. Here they go. The first one should strive to act with compassion and empathy towards all creatures in accordance with reason. 2, the struggle for justice is an ongoing and necessary pursuit that should prevail over laws and institutions. 3, one's body is inviolable, subject to one's own will alone. Exactly. 4, the freedom of others should be respected, including the freedom to offend. To willfully and unjustly encroach upon the freedoms of others is to forego one's own. 5, beliefs should conform to one's best scientific understanding of the world. One should take care never to distort scientific facts to fit one's belief. 6? Yeah, 6. People are fallible. If one makes a mistake, one should do one's best to rectify it and resolve any harm that might have been caused. And 7, every tenet is a guiding principle designed to inspire nobility in action and thought. The spirit of compassion, wisdom, and justice should always prevail over the written or spoken word. AKA, 1, don't be a dick. 2, don't be an unfair dick. Like be just and equality and shit. 3, your body's your body and you can do what you want with it. Like, as long as not self-harm and shit. Which this is very relevant. Can to get to that in a second. 4, everybody has the right to say their opinion and like basically freedom of speech. But if you're a dick about it and try to limit others' freedom, you lose your own. 5, beliefs should don't be stupid and use your brain. Your belief should follow science. 6, people fuck up. Sometimes that happens. If you fuck up, do your best to unfuck your fuck up. I just said fuck like 5 times in a sentence. And 7, every tenet, the guiding principle thingy. Follow the spirit of the word and not the letter, which is a thing that Christians don't like to do with the fucking Bible. So that. And the church of, like, the temple of Satan is more well known than the Church of Satan, in large part because of their activism. And they are very politically active. So basically what they do is like kind of how you can imagine it, is they kind of pull the religion and religious freedom card against like conservative Christians and shit like that. So, for example, they use the third tenet, the one's body is inviolable, subject to one's own will alone. They use that to like basically force it so that women who are part of their religion can get an abortion. Not that women have to get an abortion. Please don't confuse that. But like that women who are part of this religion or organization have the religious right to get an abortion, because there's the like a ritual of abortion which is protected by law, at least in the US and in many other countries, that religious practices can be practiced. And one of these practices for the Satanic Temple is like the ritual of abortion, which basically they're using the religion card to guarantee that women can get abortions. And I have a little list of things that they do. So this is just off of their website, a few of the like activist thingies that they do. So reproductive rights, aka abortion. So like that women have the right to get abortions. And for example, there are a lot of limitations on abortions, kind of depending on where you're at. And they use this religion, like the fact that they're a religion, basically, to just get rid of a bunch of shit. So, for example, women who are part of this don't have to listen to the fetus's heartbeat, which is a thing that women in some parts of the world, or probably somewhere in the US, have to do before they get an abortion, which is just cruel and dark and sick and Jesus fucking Christ. Holy hell! So women don't have to do that if they're part of the Satanic Temple, or stuff like being forced to read stuff about abortion. They're not limited. Like a lot of the pointless shit around abortion is limited, so that women can actually get it without being guilt tripped to hell and probably not back. And then they have a thing called the Gray Faction, which is about like mental health, because like a lot of organized religions kind of have issues with mental health, because they kind of just go, oh, just pray and it'll be fine, or you have the devil inside of you, you need Jesus. But like that isn't how mental health works. Like people with depression will not just magically become better just because pray to Jesus. Like praying can help some people, but it's not the ultimate answer to this. So like they kind of combat that, and they also kind of combat like the effects of the like satanic panic. That is not the thing that rhymes, but like in the 80s or something, there was like a bunch of white old like Karens, pretty much, that just ran around and were like, video games are of the devil, and comics and rock, especially rock. They did not like rock. They just labeled anything that was new, basically. Yeah, if kids watch this, they're gonna be influenced by Satan. And that also kind of influenced like mental health in the US to some degree. And they combat a bit against that, and that's called the Gray Faction. Then they have a campaign to protect children in schools against abuse, like from the schools, like for example, like schools limiting kids' access to toilets, which is fucked, and a lot of schools do that. Like, they kind of campaign against that. I don't know exactly how they do that with like religion, because like that isn't encroaching upon religious rights, but they do that so they protect kids in school from abuse by the school, which is good. Then they have a thing called After School Satan, which is a hilarious name, which is basically just a very standard after school club. They don't really talk about like Satan and shit in there. Which is like apparently a concern that a lot of people have with that, is like, oh, you're converting kids to Satan and spreading Satanist propaganda, which they do not do. But I find that particularly funny, because like a lot of the people that would be concerned about that would probably take part or send their kids to Christian after school clubs, you know? And like, how is after, like, how would it be any different if in their after school Satan thing and they like talked about Satan and Satanism? How would that be different from a Christian after school club talking about the Bible and Bible stories and discussing it? It wouldn't, but because it's Satan, converting to Satan. Yeah. So they do that, and they also kind of use that as an alternative, because like that's kind of like to say to like children at schools, like, hey, there is actually other forms of spirituality or religions besides evangelical Christianism. That's not the word. The Christianity, like, because like on a lot of schools, the only really religion that like has a foothold of any kind is exclusively Christianity, which is like not good, because then there's no option. So like they kind of say, yeah, well, if you want to give the like Protestants or evangelicals a fucking after school club, you have to give us one too, because we're also a religion. And but they mainly talk about like science and stuff. And then they have a thing called the sober faction, which is just help for alcoholics, pretty much. And then they have the satanic good works, which is like just general nice stuff, like cleaning up a park, or organizing donations for a homeless shelter, just stuff like that, just run of the mill nice like church shit, except it's Satanist. It's like just standard nice stuff, basically. So they're very like active and stuff, and very cool of them. So they do a lot of stuff, like politically, like fighting for women's right to get abortions, which is one of the things they're most famous for, which is good, because abortions are necessary, and all women should have the right to get that. And I should probably make a video about abortions at some point. Gonna have to do a lot of research on that one. But yeah, so that's really cool of them, and that's a major difference between them and the Church of Satan, because the Church of Satan is kind of more like just, yeah, do whatever you want. Satan don't care. Just do stuff. No, Satan don't give no shit. You're your own God. That's basically what the Church of Satan does, which has its value. And basically what they do is, basically what their tenets are saying is, be a fucking good person. Don't be a goddamn dick. And they're actively like campaigning. Is campaigning the right word? Or like they're actively trying to improve the lives of people and engaging with political topics to like improve the lives of people, which is very cool of them. Then on their website, they have a thingy about the differences. What is the difference between the Satanic Temple and the Church of Satan? The Church of Satan actually does not have that. As far as I could see, and from what I've heard, the Church of Satan does not acknowledge any other satanic organization at all. Just doesn't acknowledge them. And the Satanic Temple is seems very like, I don't know what the word is, eager, I guess, to distance themselves from the Church of Satan. On their yeah, and these two organizations don't really like each other. So the Church of Satan dismisses the Satanic Temple as they don't even acknowledge them. that they exist, and the Satanic Temple dismisses the Church of Satan as inactive and irrelevant, basically. And on their website, they have this image that you should be seeing on screen right now. I may have cut it up a bit. I don't know how well it will fit on screen, but you can just see a bunch of differences or common things that both of them share. Like it just lists the difference. So, for example, founding dates, differences about their belief system. One thing I would like to note is at the bottom of the right side, there is believes men who prefer blue cheese dressing must be homosexually inclined because the odor is reminiscent of a locker full of well-worn jock straps. And apparently, according to the Satanic Temple, the Church of Satan believes that, which there's a fucking story there, and I want to hear it. But, yeah, so you can just look at this image yourself. The page is pretty big and long and shit. You can go... I would recommend you click on the link. It's in the description. But one of the points that they bring up, like the second point immediately, is officially recognized as a tax-exempt church by the IRS, the governmental tax organization in the U.S., for anybody that isn't watching. And the Satanic Temple is recognized as a tax-exempt church by the IRS. Now, a while ago, I watched a video where somebody was talking about televangelists, and they mentioned that, like, getting tax-exempt status is incredibly fucking easy, and you basically don't have to do anything. And then I was like, this could be relevant in a video. Guess I should look at that, you know? Like, I feel like that's a bit of a petty point, but fair. And so, like, then I looked into this, and then basically what I Googled was, what are the requirements for getting tax-exempt status in the U.S.? Something along those lines. And then the first result was a IRS page, which, like, that's good because it's straight from the government. It's credible, right? Right. So then I clicked on it. Okay, and then I came to the site. This is linked in the description. I'm going to read this one out for you. So this is, so the question was, what are the requirements for tax-exempt status in the U.S.? And the title is Churches, Integrated Auxiliaries, and Conventions or Associations of Churches. Quote, here it goes. Churches, including integrated auxiliaries and conventions or associations of churches that meet the requirements of Section 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Code, are automatically considered tax-exempt and are not required to apply for and obtain recognition of the exempt status from the IRS. Then it goes on to waffle about what if I actively am trying to get tax-exempt status, which is not relevant to my question. So my question was, what are the requirements for a religious organization in the U.S. to get tax-exempt status? What I wanted, or what would have been ideal, was just a list. Yeah, you gotta have this, you gotta do this, and you need these thingies. You know? That is not what I got. What they're saying here is churches that meet the requirements of Section 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Code are automatically considered tax-exempt. So basically, the requirement for a religious organization to be considered tax-exempt is that they meet the requirements of 501c3. In case you're thinking, well, that doesn't fucking answer your question, and I don't know what 501c3 is, neither do I. This is fucking stupid. This does not answer my question at all. I know that there are, this is a rant, sorry. I know that there are requirements. My question was not about about whatever the fuck they're talking about there. My question was, what are the fucking requirements? Which they didn't answer. They literally just said, yeah, there are requirements, and the requirements are in Section 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Code. Which doesn't fucking answer my question. But because I like to do or at least I like to pretend that I'm doing my job as if I'm getting paid, which I'm not, I was like, okay, well then, what is 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Code? Then I Googled that, and then I got onto their website, linked to this too in the description, exemption requirements, 501c3 organizations. Then I I'm quoting, to be tax exempt under Section 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Code, an organization must be organized and operated exclusively for exempt purposes set forth in Section 501c3, and none of its earnings may injure to any private shareholder or individual. AKA, to be tax exempt under Section 501c3, the organization has to be organized and meet the requirements that are set forth in 501c3. This isn't answering my fucking question, I swear to God. The question was simple. The question was, what do you need to be tax exempt? And then they said, yeah, well, the requirements are, to meet the requirements, you have to meet the requirements, and the requirements are in 501c3. Then you go to 501c3, and then it's to be tax exempt under 501c3, you have to be organized. That's literally in the fucking name. An organization is organized, hopefully, and meet the requirements for exempt purposes in 501c3, which doesn't fucking answer my question. This is the second fucking website that literally is saying, like, not website but like page of a website that is saying to meet the requirements you have to meet the requirements, which not fucking helping. So then what I did was go on to exempt purposes, because the requirements are that you're organized and operated exclusively for exempt purposes, whatever the fuck those are, we're about to find out, that are set forth in 501c3. So what are these exempt purposes, you may be asking? And I was too. And then I clicked on it, and then we were on, link again in the description, Exempt Purposes, Internal Revenue Code, Section 501c3. Quote, the exempt purposes set forth in Section 501c3 are charitable, religious, educational, scientific, literary, testing for public safety, fostering national or international amateur sports competition, and preventing cruelty to children or animals. The term charitable is used in its generally accepted legal sense and includes relief of the poor, the distressed, or the underprivileged, advancement of religion, advancement of education or science, erecting or maintaining public buildings, monuments, or works, lessening the burdens of government, lessening neighborhood tensions, eliminating prejudice and discrimination, defending human and civil rights secured by law. What about those ones not secured by law? And combating community deterioration and juvenile delinquency. So, this is the third fucking page that we're on, right? The question was fairly simple. What are the requirements? And then we got into one page that was saying, yeah, to meet the requirements, you have to meet the requirements in 501c3. Then, when you go on to 501c3, it's to meet the requirements of 501c3, you have to be in organized and exempt purposes, which are in 501c3. So again, to meet 501c3, you have to meet the requirements in 501c3, which is like fucking not helpful. The words 501c and 3 will lose all meaning by the end of this video, I promise you. And then you go on to exempt purposes, and literally all an organization has to do to be tax exempt is, beyond all the other shit I just listed, just advancement of religion. They have to be organized and advancement of religion. Now, just to be 100% sure that I fully understood what advancement of religion is, just to be sure here, I searched it up. I couldn't find like a satisfying, like something that I understood from the American government, but I found something from the Canadian government, and it's it's not the same government, but I could think that the American government would be working with a very similar definition. Link to this in the description. The Canadian website from the Canadian government says, advancement of religion. There must be an element of theistic worship, which means the worship of a deity or deities in a spiritual sense. To advance religion in the charitable sense means to preach and advance the spiritual teachings of a religious faith and to maintain the doctrines and spiritual observances on which those teachings are based, such as establishing and maintaining buildings for religious worship and other religious use, organizing and providing religious instruction, carrying out pastoral and missionary work. Now, assuming that the U.S. government is working with the same definition, which it's probably not the same word for word, but like the general sense of it is the same. To qualify as a tax-exempt organization in the United States, you have to be organized, talk about religion, preach religion to other people, and have some kind of religious ritual. Which, what the fuck? Like, just what the, like, literally, does that mean that I could just walk out into my shed, gather 10 friends, and be like, yeah, we're now the Church of the Garden Rake, and we worship the Garden Rake, and he was sent down from the heavens, and every Tuesday we go into the shed and eat cake as a ritual? Is that a tax-exempt organization? Because I don't see no reason why not, why it wouldn't be. The topic of why churches are exempt from taxes is a whole nother topic that I'm not going to get into, but I had to go through 3 fucking governmental pages to find that exempt purposes, according to Internal Revenue Code Section 501c3, is just advancement of religion, and you have to be organized. Which is, you could have said this like 3 pages earlier, god damn it. And, like, imagine if I actually had to go onto this IRS site because of something like fucking serious, right? Imagine if I had to go onto this site because I needed to do my fucking taxes. Like, when I looked onto the site, I knew what I was looking for. I knew I knew precisely what I was looking for, and I wasn't looking for anything important. I was looking for a dumb fucking YouTube video. Like, it doesn't matter if I get this wrong. You know what I mean? There's nothing would happen if I got this wrong. Like, except maybe somebody would yell at me in the comments, but like, that isn't a real impact. You know what I mean? But like, if somebody went onto this fucking site, and I cannot imagine that this site is any better for anything else, and I actually wanted to file my fucking taxes. You need a fucking law degree, probably, to get through this fucking site. Jesus Christ, this site is a fucking mess. No wonder the U.S. doesn't fucking work, like, at all, if everything is like this. I had a simple question that is answerable in like 1 sentence, literally, and I had to spend like 10 minutes reading through these pages, all of it, and 3 of them to answer my fucking question. What the fuck, IRS? Who the fuck made this shit? Who the fuck thought that, yeah, actually, this is good for the general public to see and consult regarding their taxes? What the fuck? Who the fuck? Like, of course, somebody who studied law this would just be like really simple to navigate because they understand this shit. You know what I mean? But most people haven't, and like, just Jesus Christ, this is a fucking shit show. I've probably been talking half the video about the IRS and this burning shit show. But anyway, yeah, back to the Satanic Temple. So the Satanic Temple is basically just the Church of Satan, but like in cooler, and activism for like good shit, like allowing women to get abortion and not making them having to listen to their fetus's heartbeat, which is just so messed up. And I was not aware that that is a thing that people apparently have to do. But Jesus fucking Christ, holy hell. Also you can sign up on their website. You can like sign up to become a member of the Church of Satan. You can sign up for free. I'm just going to have that link in the description too. You just have to enter your email, your name, the country in the country that you live in, completely free, and then you can like get emails. You can also get a membership card for $25, which is also cool. So yeah, they're just real cool overall. Hope you enjoyed this video that was half about the Satanic Temple and half about the fucking IRS, which I'm pissed about. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. Yeah, if you want, you can sign up to their shit. I would recommend reading through their website, because their website is like you understand what the fuck they're saying, unlike the IRS. I would not recommend you click on those links, because it's just mindfuck. It's just mindfucking legalese. And yeah, hope you enjoyed my video. Hope you learned something. Probably more about how fucking shitty the IRS is, but if any of my viewers live in the US, you are probably aware of that. Thanks for watching. Go watch my Church of Satan video if you haven't. Thanks for sticking around. See ya.